Well, this morning my TL got me buzzing, by the way, and I've got into a situation when you get to understand everything is actually moving on. And it has reminded me of the fact that in a week's time, after this week, next week, to be honest with you, we will be making 1 full year of breakfast television and share with us huge stories about that and about the information that you get on television. And someone on my Twitter handle here just sent me a reply saying they love the fact that they get business information on a daily and they are appreciative. And I will tell you, I'm more humbled than that. If I can get his name right again, I can at least get to see you recognized on breakfast television this morning. If I can get the gentleman right, that is Muganga Douglas. Now Muganga, I believe him being called Muganga, my dad gave me that same name back in the time when we were in school. So Muganga says, we were the minimum and we enjoy a lot from the programs on Smart 24, keep serving the nation. When we get such feedback from situations regarding breakfast television, I'm telling you, this is exactly what you would wish to have every other morning. But this is just to remind every other person that doing television is to inform a lot of people, and breakfast television and more so your morning Kickstarter programs are entirely to give you a brief about the new day that you're actually getting into. And in terms of business, because everybody out in Kampala does drive business in a perspective that makes it easier for each one of them. So it's pretty much another situation or another kind of feeling when you as a business person get a lot more of the situations that you want. Well, surprising for the people that are actually coming up and getting more of the results, you would want to see that since we're in the month of July, there are a lot of expectations that we have as people or as citizens of this country, with the fact that the economic crisis in the country is actually concerning almost everybody. Inflation, hyperinflation in the country rising greatly, but then we need to pick up from the results that we see, and the number of lessons that we pick are what pushes us forward. And speaking of which, like I said, as we're making 1 year of breakfast television, it has been a year of telling stories, business stories, informing citizens in the country and telling people about everything that drives business. Everybody that is actually in the business value chain, or you should say in the economic space of Uganda, there are lots of things that you can be part of. And one of those key discussions are greatly about what you learn every day and how you can put it into use, or how you can get what you learned today and make sure you make good use of it the following day. Big results desire big dedications for anyone to take through. So, and for my people in Jinja who have already protested yesterday as matters of high inflation and commodity prices, they say that pretty much the situation, government is yet to come out and address the matters that are affecting them, because they do understand that currently, if you are a Ugandan and let's say you are an employee, someone tweeted and said that Mondays only put people who are employed under pressure. So the self-employed are never worried about Monday. But if you're an employee, in a time like this particular one, when the economic crisis is really tough, I think it is this particular time that you would wish your employer to increase your salary. And once it doesn't happen, things are not adding up and you feel like you need someone to come out and bail you out. So the bailing out causes a lot of problems and causes a lot of situationships whereby people get into depression, sort of get angry at themselves, and the result, strikes, protests. Sometimes protests are a way of showing grievances, of showing that people are not happy with how things in the country. Well, engaging in most of these particular discussions can only be possible if you follow us on our social media. Twitter is Smart24 TV. Engage, like, comment. Retweeting is more precisely advisable, and so is the replying. Facebook is Smart24 TV official. Instagram is Smart24_TV. YouTube, we are streaming live, did I tell you? And we are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. We are on to that 900 subscribers already, but now we're on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. Why don't you add that to the subscribers and get yourself business information as it happens from all the scopes of the world. The website is www.smart24.tv. More business reports, more business stories in real time. The catchword is real time. But then you can as well add me up on Twitter at Joram Paul Sonko, at your favorite guy, one I should say. Then on Facebook it's Joram Paul Sonko, not too active there. But on Instagram I'm Joram Paul Sonko as well. Let's talk business matters as far as we are good to go. Social media becoming a very huge situation in regards to fostering business lately. But then, before the break, in the parish development model, and I did mention of something that today the Prime Minister, Robin Nabanji, is going to be addressing Ugandans and as well as the media in a context where she's going to be giving us what has been happening during the 2 weeks that were given to the members of Parliament and different ministers by the Speaker to Parliament to go out to the different constituencies to ensure the implementation of the model. So today she comes in to give a report, I should say, on the development model. How is it so far and how is it faring, so that we can get to understand that if this is a project or a program that the government really says that this is going to be a pro-people program, call it, where money is definitely going to hit to places never been to, places from household levels, and that is exactly where our topic is entirely. And of course, still on ground, we have Barija Andrew, who is getting in contact with most of the people as they prepare for Robina Nabanja, who is coming to address on the matters of the parish development model. Andrew, please take this away.
Well, we are back and we are right here outside at the City Hall where the event is going to take place, where they are waiting for the Prime Minister to come and address the state of readiness of Kampala for the implementation of the parish development model. You remember that this model has pillars, there is the production, storage, processing and markets. And, all of these have a role to play in creating jobs and to make sure that a variety of Ugandans, about 3.5 million households, which consist of 17.5 million Ugandans, are out of income. Out of the poverty rates, whereby it's very important that they go to the money economy rather than being into the subsistence economy. And quite a lot of activities are taking place right now as the preparations. The PDM, we remember it was a presidential initiative way back with an intention to put many Ugandans out of poverty. And Kampala, recently there was a launch of a football tournament at Old Kampala, where the executive officer of Council Authority highly encouraged the youth to embrace the parish development model, and that's the youth in Kampala. And in other districts, the implementation has been going on. And in Kampala, we are just into getting the preparations of getting ready. When I was with Mr. Kenya, we discussed that it is built on Plan 3, which aims to create about 3.5 million jobs between two, which of course it started way back in 2020 up to 2025, 3.5, and that's back to 512,000. Did I mention it right? 512,000 jobs annually, yes. So, and we can expect that to boost the employment opportunities, most especially against the youth, because our nation is highly covered by the youth. 60-70% of the population, they are the youth. And right about now, let's have a look at what's taking place. I'm going to request, as you can see on my right hand side, quite a lot of events taking place. They're organizing on. People are getting ready to put everything together, minister to come and address. So anytime we had to arrive and discuss the state of readiness for the implementation of the parish development model. Yes, quite a number of stakeholders are right here, and many other organizers getting ready for the event. Kampala is getting ready for the implementation of the parish development model. And as we expect, as Mr. Bukenya assured us, that as we've been seeing the previous policies by the government, for example, the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, and the National Industrial Policy way back, that was in 2020, their functioning is going to depend on the parish development model. Yes, so you can see it's not really proper for a policy to exist independently. These policies work hand in hand, together, and that's both. And also the fact that Uganda, we are facing a current crisis, the fuel price. So probably the parish development model could be a way to try to cover up that gap, because this is a global thing. It's everywhere in the world. Yes. So this is the feel on ground, what's taking place. Many people are just arriving. Yes, so we expect in a few hours, not hours actually, minutes. We are now counting minutes. We are counting hours before, but now we're counting minutes. We expect the Prime Minister to arrive and give us a feel and talk about the state. How ready is Kampala for the implementation of the parish development model? All right, that's what we have for you right now on Smart Means Business. And I think right now, let me take you back to studio with Joram Paulson Cole. I'm Andrew Barije.
I will take First Television back in the time when you get updates from all angles of life, business updates. That is exactly what we do for you here, and it's something that you would love to experience every morning. This only happens every weekday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with Sonko, and now a new board member is Barije Andrew. And we drive business from Monday to Friday. Tell you what, you would want that for your morning information. Relevant as you may like. And in situations of the parish development model, implemented, I tell you, one of the biggest challenges that we are facing in Uganda, and why everybody in Uganda comes out to understand, is implementation has always been something that we definitely want to have. We definitely want to be part of, but it's something that has become challenging in most of the areas. If you're to look at the fact that people are fighting to put an end to corruption, but implementation of the strategies becomes very difficult to deal with. And if you look at the implementation of, let's say, for example, taxation, I think that is one of those key things that has never failed implementation. Taxation. Let's mention and say there are laws that have never failed to be implemented. But then when fund allocation, when it's going to donations, and the bigger challenge is, it is the people we vote or put in power that fail to allow these funds reach the target market or the target audience, which target audience is me, you, and the entire Ugandan scope. I believe what makes the government is for the people and by the people. Now, the people make that government, and it's made for them so that they benefit off it, not for the government to benefit more than the people benefit off it. And in some situations, you find that it's actually benefiting more than, those are my words, humble opinions, I should say. But clearly from the business perspective, the entire world and Uganda's perspective, inflation has been a very huge concern. Information that is that the price of crude oil has actually decreased, but in the short term, prices of fuel may not decrease in the country or on the East African Community bloc, because these are things that do not just happen abruptly. It takes time to happen. And that is exactly what is coming on with fuel prices. But the question is, one of the questions that I was actually having with the judge guy I used yesterday was, do you think these fuel prices can decrease 4,000? I remember back then, petrol was around 4,700. That's if I told you using Shell and Total, 4,700, 4,800. Then Ruby's, Starbucks, the others were actually 1,500 shillings. That was a litre of petrol. Then diesel was 4,200 with Shell and Total, 4,300 same, around that same situation. Unlike the other petrol stations who are at 4,100 or 4,000, then surprisingly kerosene also shooting up to 4,300, 4,400 in most of these petrol stations. That clearly shows you how fuel prices are high in the country. But now, with currently the prices at 6,010, 6,350, then diesel at 6,100, my worry would be, and my question would be, do you think this price will decrease even with the global fuel prices starting to decrease? Or will the retailers or suppliers in the Ugandan market choose to utilize these particular profits that they are making to continue? So does it actually go back to the humanity cause? I did mention in this country sometimes you got to realize you're broke alone money. And we're actually living in an economy that is completely unbalanced. Have a lot of good money, a lot of money, and they have it in excess. Then the poor, they really don't have the money. If you want to look at a case study, go around ShopRite Bench Wanuka Street late in the evening, around 6 p.m. or stroll in numbers as they are heading back home. Those who are heading to Chibuye, huge numbers, over 500 people walking on streets. Then you look heading to Namuongo, Zambia, huge numbers of people walking. Now that clearly represents a Ugandan who's not earning more than 10,000 a day, you're surviving on 5,000. Now on that 5,000 is a Ugandan who is supposed to save some good money to pay rent and also ensure that he has transport for the morning time. But remember, you've got electricity bills to pay, you've got water bills to pay, as well got food to eat. Now, it becomes worse if you're self-employed and you're not making money. If you're an employed person in that narrative and your company or your institution is giving you food and some good allowances, then but now if you're self-employed, you're going to make sure that business is providing as much as you want it to be. And that's exactly what is coming into the world. It's quite something that is of a huge concern in the country, but then we are strongly hoping that things will definitely change with time to time. I would want to say this is bringing me to the end of SMB this morning. Smart means business. With this show, you are the first to know. When we say be the first to know, the latest information, business, the latest information as it happens from the business world every weekday from morning, when you're the first to know, because as early as 7, the involved in Uganda is actually opening up. Others maybe open up at 6, but 7 a.m. is clearly like the first for those early birds business. So when you get to know business information as you're opening up your shop or as you're leaving home, it is vital for you as you start up your day. Now, a brief breakdown of what we've had for you in today's show. We set updates. We mentioned something about the Micro Support Center that has warned about those who are adding interest rates onto the EMIOGA Poverty Alleviation Program funds, saying that this is going to the implementation of that particular one. But also mentioned about rabbit farming, as farmers are making different moves as off the venture. It looks profitable, quite expensive though, because the supply on the market is still low, and yet the demand seemingly high, both locally and internationally in that particular perspective. And also, the Lord Mayor has come strongly say border registration is not a solution to the border challenges and he says it is not supposed to be happening. Then also we've looked at Kampala City Council Authority on a new move to eliminate the improper disposal of wastes in Kampala. For example, improperly throwing things and plastic bottles that are actually damaging the environment. That is to address the matters to do with climate change. And then on the details to do with the SMB international updates, we had something from Kenya, where Kenya wants a share of maize imports from region to be raised so as to curb the inflation that is coming in from their country in that particular perspective. And the countries that have been highlighted from that particular poll is Uganda, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe. Then China has seen protests over freezing of bank deposits erupt in Zhengzhou. Before that as well, we had Twitter shares that have apparently fallen as Elon Musk backs out of the deal. The $44 billion, approximately 36 billion pounds deal that was meant to be sealed by this time to buy Twitter. That is the Tesla CEO, the world's current wealthiest man. And then Canada has seen unemployment rate fall to record low in the month of June. You've been on audience wherever you've been, and thank you very much. Coming up after is Financial Markets with Anthony Sebale. Then later on we have Yugi Tukole, Skill Up with Naba, and then Jen Koleda with Hassan Nduga. I will be back late in the night with Business Today for your latest daily report in regards to business information as it does transpire. It's a good morning from me and to the entire team here. Good morning. Have a blessed day.